Hi everybody. Tommy Oliver, aka Brony Curious as he was once known, recently stated his fears for the show's direction this season in one of his Oliver vlogs that is linked down below. If you haven't watched it yet, then you really should. He makes it extremely clear why he feels how he feels and what caused these problems. I'm doing a response video to this because although I can see where he's coming from, I see some of the same things in a far more positive light. First things first, Alicorn Twilight Sparkle. Tommy has apparently realized what scared the daylights out of me at the end of season 3, that Twilight was a master of friendship, which means that further lessons on friendship are insane. I don't agree with the viewpoint that what she does now would be the equivalent of one of the other princesses making the same decision, because each of the princesses still has their own unique process of getting through a prom, and each of their characters is very different. Not to mention, Twilight has a massive lack of experience compared to them. I do agree, though, that because of this, the show has changed drastically. We've gone from slice of life to what seems to be more action filled episodes, fulfilling tropes that the older audience is far too familiar with. Meanwhile, the lessons are delivered with far less conviction, but you know what? This all works extremely well in my opinion. At the end of season 3, it felt like the show was ending, and in a sense, it did. We no longer are focusing on the friendship portion of Friendship is Magic. Instead, we're doing something I had been waiting for a long time. As I say in my Castlemania and Bats reviews, I am loving how this season is making use of the characters we've spent 3 seasons watching grow, actually do things with their lives. I don't feel like we're losing the characterization we've worked so hard to get, simply that these characters have fixed most of the flaws they started with. The 3 episodes that have focused on really strong personal morals were Daring Don't, which over exaggerated something that had never been an issue before, Flight to the Finish, which was a little boring and had no previous backing except fan theories, and Power Ponies, that focused on an issue that was in the same batch as all of Spike's other lessons. Does this mean I don't think morals have a place in MLP anymore? Absolutely not. As tacked on as it was, the moral of Castlemania is a perfect example of the lessons the main 6 are learning. They are learning how to handle situations and the world outside of what the 6 of them are doing or feeling. I will admit that this show first caught my attention because the characters were both interesting and they were developing each episode. Now, though, it seems like there isn't much left for them to learn about themselves and each other, it's time to move on. The new morals are ones that seem to be prepping each of them to deal with life and, in some cases, Twilight ruling a country. In Castlemania, it was learning from the past. Daring Don't, it was remembering your own self worth in front of legends. Flight to the Finish taught Dash professionalism, and Bats taught AJ, and I really hope Twilight, to think ahead regarding consequences to their actions, and Fluttershy to stand up to her beliefs, even amongst her friends. These morals seem to be preparing them for what comes next in each of their lives, and that seems rather fitting since the box has seemingly been forgotten in lieu of the castle's restoration in the Equestria Games. Both perfect plots to set up the main 6 leaving Ponyville or establishing Twilight as a princess in a more solid way. The fact that the show writers chose to make this take time and practice writing the characters in situations that are more action packed but less serious is amazing, and this season, although not groundbreaking and disappointing in some ways, can be enjoyed so long as you're ready to see that the characters we all love are still there but have changed what they're doing. I miss the old slice of life. But it seemed like the show was burning itself out with trying to have every episode further each character's development into what oftentimes seemed like a perfect character, Rainbow Dash being a perfect example of that. I guess that's where me and Tommy really disagree though, on whether or not this is healthy development for the show. And there is more than one reviewer out there for a reason, isn't there? As for the pop culture references he has such a problem with, and I don't mean to make this sound trivial, I just don't see them very often. I get into the events of most of the episodes, and whatever things they are throwing our ways work as part of the episode. Power Ponies was very different in that way, since you can see where each power took its inspiration from, minus Twilight. But outside of Flutter Hulk, it wasn't very distracting for me, and just a little unavoidable given the trope. So, in the end, this is Linespace, saying that I enjoy this season, but can definitely see the ways in which it differs from the others.